person seeking ease in life often finds themselves enduring greater hardships as they live. They focus only on difficulties and fail to see amenities. But a person battling their own desires sees fewer hardships and lives life more easily and interestingly. However, willingly seeking out life's natural challenges and enduring hardships does not mean asking for calamities from God. If a calamity arrives, we must accept it as God's attention and mercy. A person should live their life, overcome obstacles, and consider trials as opportunities. They should understand that God uses these trials to correct flaws or strengthen them further. It is not necessary to comprehend the wisdom behind every trial. God does not always disclose the specific reasons for testing us because He expects trust from us. The interesting part is that a person doesn't know what aspect God is testing them to improve. By trusting in God, we overcome tests with grace and are freed from unknown shortcomings. This demonstrates faith and reliance on God. For a believer who truly trusts in God, the reason behind the hardships doesn't matter. Knowing that God loves them is enough. Some of the trials we face are consequences of sins. Some are meant to correct behavior, and others are to elevate our status. But in any case, trials stem from God's mercy. The key is that trials ultimately benefit us. Therefore, we should bear the pain of trials patiently and trust in God. By doing so, we won't spend our days complaining. Difficulties won't discourage us or cause psychological suffering. When we sincerely believe in the merciful and compassionate God, every moment of life becomes sweet to us. How long will a person limit themselves with the pleasure of clothing and food? When will a person experience deeper joys? How long will they live under the influence of others without inner freedom? How long will the frustration of unmet superficial desires poison their lives? If we are constantly angry at everyone, complaining about problems all day, and fixated on worldly pleasures, it means our worship has no effect. It means we are not yet worthy of being called Muslims. The Quran confirms this. But Allah has endeared faith to you and made it pleasing to your hearts, and has made disbelief, wickedness, and disobedience hateful to you. Such are the rightly guided. Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 7. Do we feel Allah's presence every moment? Do we realize that God is closer to us than anything else? Sensing this itself is a great joy. It's a pleasure that one never tires of. A person eats and drinks, experiencing pleasure. Even if not satisfied, the body begins to suffer. Even when satisfied, that pleasure fades. But the joy of trust, reliance, and faith in God never leads to suffering or weariness. That is why the Prophet used to say, "The hungry eat and are satisfied, the thirsty drink and are satisfied, but I am not satisfied with prayer." In childhood, being in the embrace of parents, receiving their affection made us happy. Growing up, we feel alone, but we are not alone. We are in God's embrace. God shows us affection. When we feel this, we become as happy and sincere as a child. We harm no one. What prevents us from this joy? A hadith states that the reason for not experiencing the sweetness of faith is pursuing worldly pleasures. We fill ourselves with trivial pleasures to such an extent that we cannot reach the purest pleasure. Some think that fighting desires might lead to disorder in worldly affairs. They think a person will focus solely on the afterlife and neglect the world, enduring every oppression as if it were a test. No, one who loves Allah will meticulously fulfill His commands. They strive to perfect every action, viewing it as a gift presented to God. If they pursue education, they aim to be the best student. They strive to become the best doctor or teacher. Because serving the family is pleasing to Allah, they become the best family. Recognizing that their body is a trust from God, they take care of their health. Struggling against desires is not about spending all day in worship. It is about living with wisdom. It means being creative, sharp-minded, and hardworking. Perform worldly tasks for the sake of God, and you will gain both this world and the hereafter. You will develop materially and spiritually. Someone who merely pretends to be a person of faith, spending all their time in a corner of the mosque, cannot truly be faithful. Such people use religion to mask their incompetence and laziness. They are criminals and liars. A true servant of God prosper their world because worldly prosperity is Allah's desire. In this way, worldly affairs turn into worship, taking on a spiritual hue, and you enjoy life. About pleasure in the next episode.